So let me just say hello and welcome to today's workshop. So my cat might need to go on the floor because she likes to, there's like a space between my laptop, so she likes to kind of put her paws in there because I made the mistake of playing with her a few times like that. So I'm very happy you guys are here today. Today's workshop is called Release the Beast. And I love this workshop. I've done this a few times. Let me just tell you a quick story about why I do this workshop and why I love it so much. So when I first, oh, Katy, come on. You can't stand on the keys. That disrupts the things, okay? So when I first came to Portugal, I had a lot of like health issues, like a lot of health issues, and it was very, very stressful. I came alone. I didn't have a job at the time. I just lost my job. I didn't speak the language. I didn't know anyone. It was probably like the most stressful time of my life. I was also in a very um, unhealthy relationship at the time, which was adding to that stress. So it was just very, very crazy and stressful. And something happened one day, and basically, I was supposed to have a doctor's appointment, and I canceled the appointment. But it brought up like I was so angry about it. Because like it took me ages to get to the place, and then I had to walk everywhere because I didn't have transport, blah, 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 blah. So I was so like furious. I was so, so angry. And in the past, I would, no, she's drinking my
Sorry.
water. She's
Trying
drinking
to
my
turn
water.
the volume off.
Let's see. Oh, that's okay. I couldn't actually hear anything on your side. You can
Okay,
mute
I'm
yourself.
trying to figure out. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Do you want me to mute you? I can just mute you. Let me
No.
mute you guys anyway.
Yeah,
No,
thank you. I'll figure it out in a minute.
okay. No, I can't see. I can't see Tina now. She's disappeared. Okay, I don't know. Oh, there you are. Okay, there we go. Okay, mute. So you guys can unmute yourself at any moment. Um, so basically, short story, long story short. Um, I needed a way to release the negative emotion because it was so extreme. And my previous ways of dealing with those kinds of emotions would be like kind of very destructive, like inwardly destructive, like hurting myself, basically. So I had to find a different way. And, as an artist, like I'm used to using art as a tool for self-expression. So I got my pad out, I got my paints, and I just started basically destroying. Come on, Katy, sit there. I just started destroying like my previous drawings, like stabbing the paper, using my charcoal, my black paint, and just like kind of just going like absolutely crazy. And the result was that I just felt this like release. And it just really made me realize that, it's so important to release those emotions, especially those very high energy emotions like anger, frustration, rage, even irritation. So it's really, and stress as well, like that feeling of being stressed. It's so important to release it out of your body because as you guys know, I'm sure, when you hold on to these things, it causes disease, it causes like reflux, it causes cancer even, like it's so detrimental to us to keep those emotions inside. The other thing I realized was the power behind these emotions. I don't know who said it first, but like the word like emotion is like energy in motion. So I really think of emotions as energy in motion. And it's really easy to think of it like that because when you're feeling an emotion, it is like a kind of, it's a movement in your body. It's in like usually in a specific location and you can really feel that movement. And with very high energy emotions, it's a lot of movement. I mean, sometimes you even shake, like it's energy that needs to go somewhere. So instead of using it in negative ways, like by hurting yourself or doing unhealthy things or having unhealthy habits, you can harness this energy because it's so powerful, and you can channel it into something positive, into something proactive. And that's really the kind of gold in negative emotions. Apart from learning about like shadow work and the positive things inside the negative emotion, that's another positive aspect of negative emotions. But just harnessing that energy, and you don't have to harness it and make art. You can harness it and start a project. You can harness it and like um, get stuff done. Like it's just about like funneling that emotion into something else, giving it a way to release. Of course, like doing it through art is a very cathartic experience, and I highly, highly recommend this when you are feeling that those high energy emotions, because sometimes there's so much energy there that trying to do something like starting a project, for example, or like starting your book is slightly more difficult than just like grabbing some charcoal and just like letting it out. So that's what we're going to do today. I don't know if you guys have heard of Abraham Hicks. Okay, you have. So I love Abraham Hicks, and I'm going to show you guys. So I have a book from hers, oh, oops, which is called Ask and It Is Given. I love this book. It's full of amazing exercises um, to kind of move yourself up what she calls the emotional scale. So can you guys see this picture over here?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Abraham Hicks's emotional guidance scale. So as you can see from this, like the ones right at the bottom are like the really, really, really kind of really negative ones, right? Very and it might surprise you actually which ones are here. I mean, look how low jealousy is on this list. This surprised me. Jealousy is like a very, very bad, it's even worse than rage and hatred. So I thought that was quite interesting. So have a look at that. And so the whole purpose of Create Calm Crew and these workshops and courses is to help you move from these lower levels up using creativity, using art, and using writing. So what she says is that you can't jump from grief to passion, for example, or hatred to hopefulness. It's very difficult to make such a big jump in your emotions without a kind of a process. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely that that will happen, that you can jump from like feelings of despair to feelings of optimism. So what she recommends and what I try to do in my workshops and courses is to help you kind of just move up one or two or three steps to feel a little bit better. And she does what she calls like finding a better feeling thought. So I thought this was a very interesting concept to try and move yourself up that emotional scale. So, um, for example, like if you find yourself feeling jealous, instead of like trying to repress that and like, no, 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 I'm feeling love, I'm feeling love, I'm feeling appreciation, see if you can just move that up like even 1 point. And then it's like, And you can do this just by thinking, just with your thoughts. Like, oh, and then you're like, oh, I really hate this person. I hate this person because they made me feel this way, you know? And then maybe you jump to revenge, like, oh, I'm gonna like, I want to get this person back for like how much they hurt me, you know? They deserve like the worst, da, da, da. Then maybe you can move to like anger, like, oh, I'm so angry with this person. Like, how could they do that? Then maybe like discouragement, like, oh, you know, this is not good for me. Like this situation is not good. Then maybe move to blame, like, oh, this person really like ruined my day or like, you know, ruined my life or whatever it is. Then maybe worry, like, oh, how am I going to solve this problem? You know, like how, you know, what am I going to do? And then maybe doubt, like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I don't think I can do it by myself. And you see what I mean? So you can kind of talk yourself through these different processes. And if you do it with enough like feeling and focus, it's really possible to move from something like jealousy all the way up to passion even. This doesn't have to take like a week or a month. You can do this in maybe even like an hour, depending on what process you're using. Like it's possible. So I'm hoping today we can move ourselves up this scale wherever we are. So look at this scale and try and see where you are today. Like look at it and just think, take a moment to just think about like where you are. And if you like, you can share that or you can write it on your in your journal or your notebook or your sketchbook, whatever you're using today. So think about what you're feeling, and then you can even put it on a scale between 1 and 10. Like, how intense is this emotion on a scale of 1 to 10? Is it really low or is it really high? Just make a note of that. You can also put today's date if you're using your sketchbook or your journal for this, just write down the date. It's really important to write down the date when you do any of this kind of work. Just because you can see if you ever decide to go back and look at it, you can see how much you've progressed or what you felt at a certain time. And this really helps, I find, it helps you to see like if you have any patterns, you know, because sometimes we're so in our emotions, we're so in our life that we don't really take a moment to step back and look at our lives like a whole, look at our emotions like a whole, like a cycle, you know? Okay, so if at any point anyone wants to share, you can just raise your hand in the Zoom or just unmute yourself. So I know. So if anyone wants to share, I can share mine. Um, I'm actually on number 10, so I'm feeling like quite a lot of frustration and irritation these few days just because I feel like, you know, I have all this stuff to do, and sometimes I don't get all the things that I want done, and it causes a lot of frustration. And the irritation, I don't know if that's because I didn't like eat properly today, but I think they kind of feed each other as well, those feelings. So I don't know if anyone else wants to share what they'll be working on. Um,
I'll share just that, discouragement was the thing that popped out most to me. Not necessarily overwhelming today, but it's constantly in the background
mm,
and it's kind of an underlayment for so much of what I feel about how my body is responding in the world, in its environment. Wildfire smoke being something that's keeping me inside, or things like that. So It just felt like the word in this list that really it resonated big with me, and it's kind of low on the scale. So I'm picking that to work on here.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, it's really good to even to be able to acknowledge the emotion. I've said this a few times, just by labeling what you're feeling, helps to diminish that feeling. I don't know how exactly it works, but just by saying like I feel discouragement or like I feel like frustrated or I feel irritated, just by labeling it and acknowledging it is already taking like that first step to feeling better, right? Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, so let me have a look. Got some chats. Okay, yes, Tammy, we can have a chat after the recording. Okay, so now that you've chosen something to work with, that's what we're going to work on today, work on releasing today. And also what's interesting about doing this, and you might find this at the end, is that sometimes we feel something, but really it's something else. So this can be quite interesting. For example, when I said that day that I was feeling so angry and like, actually what I was feeling was like intense, it was more like despair and sadness rather than anger because I felt really like let down and like overlooked. So this can be very interesting in seeing like, oh, wow, actually, you know, yes, I'm feeling this, but there's more to this. There's like layers. So it's very interesting to consider that. And we can talk more about that at the end. Okay, so for now, let's just briefly have a quick meditation just to kind of settle our bodies down and to set an intention for this session. So if you want to close your eyes, you can. And just take a nice few physiological sigh breaths. So that's 2 breaths in and 1 breath out. And we'll do that together now. So take a nice deep breath in. And again, to fill up your lungs. And breathe out slowly through your mouth. You can close your lips slightly as if you're blowing through a straw. And take another nice deep breath in. And again. And out through your mouth. And one more nice deep breath in. And again. And out through your mouth. And just feel your body relax. And take a moment to set an intention for this session. Maybe it's to feel better, to release this emotion, or just to relax, unwind. Just set your intention. And take a nice deep breath in. And sigh it out. And now bring into your mind the emotion that you chose to work with today. How does that emotion feel in your body? Is there a certain place in your body where you feel this emotion more? Where in your body do you feel this emotion? If it had a form or a color or a texture, what would it be? Maybe it's just a bunch of chaotic scribbles or lines. Maybe it's like big, overpowering buildings. Like, what does it have a form? Does it have a shape? Maybe it's an animal. Like, if it were an animal, what kind of animal would it be? What kind of texture does it have? Is it smooth? Is it slimy? Is it sticky? Is it hard? What kind of texture does it have? What kind of colors does it have? Does it say anything to you? What does it say to you? So now take a nice deep breath in. And on the out breath, you're going to go ha, like really loudly. You can keep your eyes closed if you want. So take a nice deep breath in and then just go ha, like you're getting it out. Take a nice deep breath in again. And then you're going to go ha, release that breath. And we'll do two more. Nice deep breath in. Ha. And again. Ha. And now take a nice deep breath in. Hold it for a second. And slowly breathe out. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Okay, so let's get into it. So I want you to think about how you felt in that meditation. Ooh, I feel a bit lightheaded now after that, after that breath. Okay. So hopefully you have all your materials ready. I'm going to switch on my other camera so you can see what I'm doing, although it's not super necessary. Make sure you have some water with you. And so hopefully you can see me and my pages. Okay. So I'm going to be using a lot of, so you can use anything you like for this. Charcoal is really good because it's a dry material so that it doesn't go everywhere. But it's also very strong in its color and you can really smear it. So basically, I want you to express this emotion as if it were color, as if it were texture, line, shape. So think about the shapes, think about the colors, think about the textures while you're doing this. And really like don't hold back, okay? You guys won't be in the I don't think you'll be in the recording camera, but if you want to, you can turn off your camera and really like get into the process. Don't be afraid to like let this emotion kind of come through you. So it's coming through you and then out onto the page. You can use paint, you can use markers, anything you like. If anyone has any questions, you can just let me know. But for now, think about your emotion. Think about the color that it has. think about what kind of line it is, like texture, and just kind of let it out onto the page. If your page gets full, take a new page. So have a few pages ready so you can just kind of, go through them as you like. So think about like what does this feeling feel like? The texture, the line, what kind of shape is it? And really like let it out onto the page. If it's something like anger or aggression, you can even like like stab the page with your pen or pencil, like don't be afraid if the pages rip, just let it out onto the page. You can mix your mediums, use pens, use paint, use the charcoal, you can layer it, whatever. You could even stand up while you're doing this to get more out of it. I usually stand up when I do these kinds of things just because it allows you to like, really get into it. So you can stand up if it's easy for you to do that. So smudge it, like don't be afraid to like get your hands dirty for this. You can even close your eyes and just like see what happens where your material goes. You can think about symbols, like what kind of symbol? Maybe there's like pins, maybe like, I don't know, could even be something like a sad face or like an eye or a dead tree, or just think about like if it was a symbol, what symbol would it be? Just let it flow out of you. New page. Can get a bit tricky if you're using paint, but don't be afraid to just like use your fingers. As much as you can get involved in it, the better. This is like a face. Think about the symbols as well. It'd be quite interesting. It's not about what it looks like, okay? Just get that out of your mind. This is not about what it looks like at all. Move the pieces to one side that you've already finished if you want. Oh, I have to take off my headphones. This is when it gets a bit tricky. You can think about what kind of words are associated with this. You can write down the words. You can even write down the thoughts. They don't have to be recognizable, just to get them out. You could even write other words that are associated with this emotion. Really try and fill the page up as much as possible. You can make a sound if you want to like kind of like just make a sound, get it out of your body onto the page. There's a reason I called this Release the Beast. Oops. So we'll probably do this for like another 5 minutes or so, or longer if you feel like you need longer. Don't be precious. If it's when you're done with one piece, get another piece. Just get it out of your body. Just see what flows out of you. Don't think about it too much. Just kind of see what comes out. Doesn't matter what it looks like. You might feel emotions while you're doing this. Just let them come through and out of you. Don't judge them. Don't try and stop them. Whatever they are, let them be and express them on page. It might be completely different to what you thought it was. Just release it onto the page. Whatever comes up in the moment, release it onto the page. You can use words to write down. If a thought comes into your head, write it down. If a word comes into your head, write it down. Stand on there, sweetie. Let me hear you now, but you can't stand on there, okay? I have at least like 4 big pieces with all your emotions, thoughts, feelings. Doesn't matter if you can't read it, doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. Don't judge the thoughts, don't judge the emotions, just let them have a say on the page. And what you can do now is the ones, especially the ones that have like thoughts on them, you can take the page and you can like scrunch it. Scrunch it, you can tear it into pieces. Just kind of like imagine when you're doing this, you're like releasing it. Okay, let's scrunch it up, tear it. We are not being precious with these. Just go for it. Tear it up into little pieces if you want. You can cut it, you can punch it, you can stomp on it, whatever you feel like doing. I have more. Really squeeze it and scrunch it. How are we all doing? Do you guys need some more time? Need more time? Okay. So just get that emotion out with your movements. Don't worry about destroying this because this is something that's made to be released, made to be destroyed. I'm gonna wash my hands while I wait for you guys. Yes, this is about creating mess. Maybe I should have warned you guys to wear clothes that doesn't matter if you get a bit of paint on them or, at the end, you should have a big pile of mess. We're going to use that mess in the next part. And like, hopefully you guys, oh, I should have shown you my hands before I washed them. Hopefully your hands are like all messy. That's all part of it. Okay, don't worry if you can't respond. Like, it's okay. I'm looking at the chat as well. So the more mess you make, the better. Tina, love it. Yeah, perfect. That's great. There's something very satisfying about making a big mess. So I'll give you guys a few more minutes. I would like to see your hands before you clean them. Oh, there's spat all over the camera there. Catty, no, you can't come here. There's too much paint. Let's give you some treats. I'll give my cat some treats. Oh, Tina. So
My,
hopefully that
hand-
was a
my hands aren't very dirty. I used a toothbrush and a paintbrush
Oh,
with
good.
old inks that had a little bit of a negative connotation that I've had for probably
Ah,
25 years, from a
wow.
boss at a photo studio I worked for, that part of it I loved, but she was really a bully. And so I
Um,
was cleaning out and my art supplies and I was like, "Oh, these inks from that bully. I'm going to use them." So,
yeah, that's the best.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Very, very cool. Awesome. All right. I'm
it
gonna.
came up in the language too. Some of the words that I used had this,
Mhm.
there was definitely a bully voice, and that's something I'm going to explore because it has a lot to do with discouragement. It's very interesting, and I didn't want to let my mind go too far, but I did take a couple notes too so that I explore it because it feels powerful, and I know there's more to come. So I'll have
Yes.
something to journal.
Yes, we'll do some journaling at the end because, yeah, and if you need to, yeah, make those notes because it's very interesting how what comes up when you allow like free reign, like just like blah, because it starts to shift. I don't know if you noticed, like the emotion of it starts to shift, like it's just frustration, but then there's like a lot of anger there, and there's like this emotion and this emotion and this and overwhelmed and da da da. So it all kind of, you know, emotions are like, it's just a word for a feeling, right? But sometimes like the feelings are kind of like washes over each other, and sometimes they're intermingled, they're tied together. So this is a very interesting and powerful way to see like these thoughts and these emotions and how they're kind of intertwined and how they're behaving actually, because I think all this is happening inside, sometimes below our awareness even. So that's why I think it's so powerful to there, let it out.
Well, I feel I'll just say that in the meditation, I was sort of surprised at what it felt like. What came up was like molasses or sap, which I love
Mm.
molasses and sap. They have beautiful things, but aren't
Yeah.
they hard to clean off? And when they
Yeah.
stick to you, and so these words have this sense like a lot of them felt like they were from the outside thrown at me and now I've stuck with them. Like, what the heck is that?
Mm.
So that's what feels like it's
That's
brewing right now. So thank you. It's
good.
very
Oh,
powerful.
that's very interesting. Yeah, so interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to think of the things as like textures. It brings a different dimension to it. So
Yeah.
that's very interesting. And the symbolism behind that as well, you could really like explore that.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So I'm assuming you guys are finished, done with this part? Tammy?
Yes.
Okay, okay, awesome. So if you guys want to take a little break just to wash your hands or get some water and drink some water, and like it is normal to, I remember the first two times I did this, I was very like, you're like shaking, you really like you're feeling that adrenaline. So it's normal to really feel that emotion intensely, like while you're doing this. But hopefully, now that it's out and on the page, I'm hoping that that emotion is diminished within you, that you're not feeling it as intensely as before. Okay, so now, if you can, it's gonna be a bit tricky for me actually. So just for a moment, like put your, so we're gonna use this, okay? So put it somewhere else, just so you have a space to do the next part. So I'm just gonna move it to the other side of the table. It's a bit tricky. I don't know where to put it. Okay, I'm just gonna put it there. And once you've moved it out the way, so now take a nice clean piece of paper now, a new piece or a new page in your sketchbook if you're using that. I'm just gonna quickly give my cat some treats because she's making some noise. So just give me a couple minutes. So just get your paper ready. And I want you to think of a color that makes you feel calm and get that color. So a color that makes you feel calm, a color that makes you feel happy, and a color that makes you feel inspired. And just get those colors ready. You can have multiple colors. If you have lots of colors, you can get like a few of each. Oh, baby. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, sorry about that. All right. So choose a color that makes you feel calm. We can do that one first. Mhm. Okay. And start at the corner of the page. And now we're just gonna kind of calm our bodies down after that because it can be very intense. You might feel some pain, you might feel some just kind of unsettled, okay? That's completely normal. It's a very intense exercise, actually. So now we're just going to calm ourselves down by focusing on our breath, focusing on the lines, and start at the corner of your page and just take some nice breaths, very easy, and let your pen or your marker or paint, whatever you're using, let that guide your breath. So you're going to move very slowly and just follow your breath around the page. Doesn't matter what kind of line this is. Choose something that's kind of calming. You don't even have to look at it. You can just let your hand and your breath guide one another. And just take some really nice, deep breaths and allow your mind to settle itself down. And you can end this line at the end of your page on the other end. So you're starting on the one corner and ending on the other in a continuous line of breath. And you can choose another color now. You can either choose another happy color or you can choose a color that makes you feel calm. So we'll do the calm one now. So this time start on the other end of the other corner of the page. And we'll just take a nice deep breath. And this time really watch the line. Watch how it plays and intersects with the other line. And just let it dictate your calm breath. So you're going to want to go slowly, but the line can play as well. So don't be afraid to let it play, let it twirl around. Just see what the breath creates. And you're going to end on the opposite corner. And now you can take your color that makes you feel inspired. So what makes you feel inspired? And you can start at any edge of the page. And this is your inspired breath. So let the feeling of inspiration guide what this line looks like. Maybe this one moves a little faster. Don't worry about what this looks like. Just focus on your breath. You can even focus on the sound. Mine's making a really nice sound on the paper. And allow this line to flow out the other side, the opposite side to where you started. So think about how different your breath was while you were doing this exercise compared to the angry one or the emotional, the negative emotion one. So think about how your breath changed, because usually when we're in a state of stress or anxiety or any kind of negative emotion, we take more shallow breaths. We don't breathe deeply. So I find that kind of interesting. And yeah, I hope by doing this, your breath has become more calm. Okay. And you can also think about how the feeling was different. The feeling of doing this line and breath compared to the feelings associated with the first drawings. Okay. So now I'm gonna show you an example. So the idea now, I'm gonna just spotlight this one. So the idea now is to transform this negative emotion into something beautiful, into something positive. So you can do that. So let me show you what I did the last time. I don't have an example of the first time, but what I used the first one, because I use a lot of charcoal, the drawing was very black. And I wanted to create something beautiful out of it, to transmute those emotions, to change them into something positive. So I used all my ripped paper and I created a forest using the strips of paper because I was tearing it, like I had these big strips. And I created trees out of those strips. So what I did the time after that was I cut up the pieces into letters, into shapes, and I made this just trust yourself. So think about what you would like to transform this negative emotion into. So for me, like if it's something like frustration, maybe I'll choose something like clarity or certainty. So what does certainty look like? What kind of shape is it? This can be you can turn it into like a flower, like a big flower, like collage. You can turn it into words. You can turn it into absolutely anything. It can be an abstract, just like an abstract kind of collage. But try and use what you've done to create something positive, something that you feel is beautiful. And I can probably guarantee, even though like what we did is very like angry and aggressive, and once you cut this up or create something new with it, it's gonna feel so different. So it doesn't really matter what it looks like. It's gonna feel so different. It's gonna feel like you've taken this negative thing and you've turned it around. You've made it into something beautiful. So if anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to unmute and ask. There's really no wrong way to do this. You can create like a scene. You can create just a phrase like I did. Really anything you want. You can use other materials and like add to it. Whatever you want to do is okay. So I'm going to use this paper again. You can use the same kind of paper that you've been using, or you can use your sketchbook to put something in your sketchbook. You can use something completely different. It's totally up to you. So the whole point is to use what you did and create something beautiful or a positive phrase or something that makes you feel good. Some kind of encouragement or happiness. Or anything you've realized through doing this. Okay, does everyone understand? Everyone's okay with that? You guys are very quiet. I'm assuming you're just into it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It might be a bit tricky if the paint is like still wet, but just kind of go with it. Don't worry too much about what it looks like. And let's see if
Yeah,
we can.
I'm good too. I'm
Okay.
just to
All
say.
right. I'll leave you guys to it. If you want, it might be good to listen to some music. Um, I could put some music on, but it means that you won't be able to see my screen. So, but if you want, like, put on some music, put on your headphones. So we'll do this for, I don't know, we'll see how we go. A good 20 minutes, I think. Let's see how we go. Oh, I forgot my scissors. Scissors. Hmm. Would you guys like some music?
I've got my own playing.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I really suggest listening to any music that you find calming. You can also create a symbol, like a smiling face, or can be anything. excuse me. Sorry. I didn't catch that in time. And if you want to add other elements to this, you can, okay? You don't have to only use what you did before. You can write some, depending on what you did, you can write some positive affirmations. You can add some drawing or some color, whatever feels right for you. You can even put some different pictures of things that make you feel this emotion. Um, Whatever feels good for you. I think I'm just gonna maybe add some color to this, and then yeah, I think that's all I'll do. How's everyone going? Is anyone finished? Maybe not. Okay,
Not finished, but it's taking shape
it's
and
taking shape. Good.
maybe a little bit more.
Okay. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. Not finished. All right. We can go on for like another 10 minutes, even if you need 10 minutes, we can go on for another 10 minutes. There's no rush. So I would say you have about 5 minutes left, but you can always work on this some more in your own time. Like, don't feel like you have to rush it. Okay. How are we doing?
I'm at a good stopping point. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, good. All right. If you haven't finished or if you want to add more to it, you're welcome to do that. Does anyone want to share what they've done? No
I just
pressure.
put mine in the chat for the heck of it.
Okay, let me have a look.
Um,
Oh, let me share the screen so we can bring it up. Okay, you should be able to see it now. Do it a minute. Yeah. Can you see it?
when,
Mhm.
yes,
Okay.
as I was tearing up the pieces of paper, I realized that so much of the discouragement that I'll feel, I already said, has some external things that I've internalized. And I thought a lot about kind of that Buddhist way of thinking, like your thoughts are like leaves that you acknowledge and throw in the river, but you don't dive in after them and chase them or hold on to them forever. And so I was thinking a lot about these negative things flowing,
Mm.
through on top of the breath page scribbling and things like that. And then I realized that that was my power word also. So
Wow, cool.
I added the green because I wanted the symbolic aspect of a river bank, that it holds the river, that the river wouldn't be a river without that confinement. And
Mm.
that, there were some aspects to how negative, or, in my life, where someone telling me I can't do something is sometimes a motivation for, oh, I can do that in a
Yeah.
positive way. So those are the things that were coming into my mind as I was trying to create this with detachment of how it really looks when I'm done.
Yeah, well that's important because yeah, I mean just I think it's so beautiful and I think if we constrain ourselves to like how something looks, like imagine then you wouldn't have come to this beautiful
Right.
realization, right? And it is
Right.
really, really beautiful. Like what an awesome thing. And it's so cool that it's your word that you chose for word of the year as well. That's amazing.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional, but as it was taking shape,
Yeah,
that came
yeah.
up. So
That's
I add,
amazing. That's perfect. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Thanks, Tina. Tammy, did you want to? Oh, let me stop sharing
Yes.
this quickly. Okay.
So for mine, I just made a new art piece.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And with this one, I was thinking more in terms of boundaries. So, like me being separate from other people's things, emotions, judgments, etc. Like me in the middle, and then all the other things on the outside circle, and then, my stuff in the inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
And focusing on the things that I can change rather than trying to change what other people think. So accepting, people are going to have their opinions of things. You're not always going to like it. And also just like accepting that, as well
Yeah.
as saying to myself, this is the stuff that I can control in my life. And like all the other things that are outside that shouldn't matter. And it's about protecting yourself, protecting your energy, and um, having those boundaries. That's what I was thinking
Mhm.
about when I made this art.
Oh, beautiful. And it's a very calming piece as well because because circles are so calming and it's like a container, it's like containing yourself, like a safe bubble.
Yes.
Very cool. Love it. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. So awesome to see. I was so curious to see what you guys would do. It's always so interesting to see. what people do. I can share mine with you. I just turn mine into like a sentence. Everything is working out for me. And then when I put these hearts, I stuck these circles down, and then I just really loved how it looked like balloons, like air balloons, and just that feeling of like release and, like everything is okay. I don't have to like have a grasp on like every little thing. I can trust and let the things let the things flow. All right, so let's do a little bit of journaling before we finish. So if you want to if you have a special book that you want to use for your journaling, you can use that. Um, or you can use your sketchbook. Okay. And I will write the prompts in the chat as well. So the first prompt is, what insights did you get from the first part of the exercise? What insights did you get? Oops. When we did that first part of the exercise, letting out your emotions onto the page when you use different textures and colors. So think about anything that stood out for you while you were doing it or afterwards, any insights that you got from doing that. how did the releasing the negative emotions, how did that make you feel before and afterwards? How did it feel to release those emotions using art? Did it make them worse? Did it make them better? How did it feel? And did they change? What insights did you get from the positive exercise, the changing the negative into the positive? What insights did you get during that part or once you'd finished? Any insights or anything you learned about yourself? And you can include in there how it made you feel to create this positive version. And the last one. So all of these are in the chat, by the way. What did this workshop show you? What did this exercise show you about holding on to versus releasing? So you can think about this in terms of like how it made you feel, um, why it's important to release, other things you want to release. Just this process of learning to distinguish different emotions and not keeping them in the body. And really, I think the whole purpose of this workshop and the reason I think this is so important um, is because actually it's much easier to shift your emotional state when you first allow that emotion to have its say, like be expressed. Once you can see the emotion, also it helps to, like I said, to label the emotion. But when you label it and you create an artwork or just scribble it out, it allows your mind, your brain to visualize it, to separate yourself from it, to not identify so much with it. And I find that like once you give these emotions a voice or a label, they're so much more likely to be released, and it just becomes much more easy to release them because you allow them to be, and you release them, and you can start to think about the new thoughts, the new feelings you can incorporate, or what you can learn from them, the positive side of them. Um, you know, like with Tina's collage that she made, like without those thoughts, there wouldn't be a river to flow, and that river has value too. So yeah, I really love the visual of yours, Tina. I think it's really great and a perfect example, I think, for this for this workshop. All right. Has everyone finished? Have you guys finished? Yeah? Okay, so I will send you a recording of this and the journal prompts again. But for now, I think we can just end with just a little grounding breath. So if you want to just close your eyes, get comfortable. Maybe give a little stretch. Always helps. Just close your eyes and settle your body down. Take a few nice, easy breaths. And just relax your body after this session. And just give yourself the space and the time to settle down. We did quite a lot of shifting, energy shifting. So just be very calm and gentle with yourself. Allow yourself to rest. And wherever you feel any tension in your body, just take a nice breath into that area. And just scan your body from the top of your head all the way down to your feet. Just breathing into any area where you feel any tension. And release the tension in your shoulders. And relax your shoulders, relax your back. Relax your stomach, let your stomach relax and all the muscles around your stomach. And just become aware of wherever your body is making contact with the chair, with the ground. Just put your attention in those places. And take a nice deep breath in. And again in. And slowly breathe out through your mouth. And just feel yourself grounded. Grounded in your positive emotion. You can think of your word of the year. And that positive emotion that you worked with today. Whether it's ease or feeling safe in yourself. Allowing yourself to flow with life. Just take a moment to feel that positive energy in your heart. And take a nice deep breath in and just imagine your whole body filling with that positive energy, whether it's ease or flow or safety, whatever it is, just take a nice breath into your heart with this energy. And breathe it back out into your world. And you can put your hand on your heart now and just thank yourself for being here, for doing this important work. Take another nice deep breath in through your heart. And sigh it out. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Thank you guys so much for being here. We went over a little bit today. Um, Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, if you want to share anything else, you can share in the group or the Facebook group, whatever you like. And other than that, I will be in touch about the next workshop. So I was gonna skip next week and then do another two, but we actually have some plans for the following week. So I was wondering if we could do next week the same time again. But then it means we'll have 2 weeks before the last one, I think. Is that how it works? Yeah, I'll have to like think about how it's gonna work. But if that's okay for you guys to have it next week again, same time?
Yeah, I think that's better for me too. I have a family
Okay.
commitment
Ah,
following week, and
after. Okay.
yes. So
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
that's
Excellent.
fine.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I can't wait to see you next week again. And yeah, good luck with the tasks as well. Um, I hope that's going well. I've missed quite a few, to be honest. But don't worry if you miss a day or two or even a week. You can always hop back on the bandwagon whenever you have a moment, even if it's just 5 minutes. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you, and I will see you next week.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank
Thank
Have a good one.
you.
Bye.
Bye.